I dealt with it. Go ahead.
Okay, so we're talking about the fact that I can't. Oh, something
You
about
barely eat.
something about the sober life, about the virtues of leading the sober life, and it's this Italian story about this Italian guy who, I think he was like 30 years old or something, and he just led a life of total debauchery to this point, much like Charlie Parker, who, when the coroners came and they looked at this guy and they thought he was like 60 years old, and he was actually in his 30s when he died because of the abuse, alcohol and the rest of it. So the doctors basically told the man, forget it, you're practically dead, it's over for you, right? So this was his big wake-up call, and he went on, he completely cleaned up his act, and the essential cornerstone of his regime, his personal health regime, was that he only ate, I think, 12 ounces of food per day.
This is who Matt was talking about. Matt Monarch was talking about this
Was he
guy
talking about the same? Oh, he was talking about the same guy.
on that video.
Look, see, this is why we make these videos. I love how this stuff happens. We were just talking about Matt Monarch. I had no idea I don't even know where this came up. How did I start thinking about this?
I don't know.
We didn't mention the guy.
No.
Right?
Synchronicity,
So
man.
it's synchronicity, exactly. That's what we're talking about. This just was an example of synchronicity. So anyway, the guy went on to lead a very healthy and happy life, and his accounts of his daily experience of living in the book are very positive, and he even commented on how his singing voice became very like sonorous, and I have noticed that that purging the body and cleansing the body has improved my abilities vocally, singing abilities vocally. There's less congestion, there's less phlegm, there's less gunk, there's more of a clean instrument to work. That's subjective, maybe that's delusional, but I think it's true. Anyway, that's what the story was about. This guy who lived a long and healthy life because of systematic undereating. We relish our food so much. It's such a primary source of entertainment that the thought of having to do anything to modify one of the few guaranteed pleasures in life, people don't want to hear about it, man. They don't really want to know how to be healthier. Not really.
No, it's radical.
Right. People want to know how to pleasurize more, but not how to actually be healthier and have more enjoyment of life. Because that's what you get when you're healthy. You have more pure enjoyment of life, more pure enjoyment of living. That's why I think it's valuable, because you don't have to worry about going to the doctor. You don't have to presume that, oh yeah, man, I get old, so therefore I'm going to get sick. It's natural. Everybody does, right? Well, yeah, everybody does, because everybody eats garbage. Think about what you're actually eating and whatever that thing is, where it started, and the long road it's been down by the time it gets to your palate. Has it been packaged in plastic? Has it been run through a factory and machines? And that's what you want to feed and nourish yourself with? Man.
I was looking at a box of grape nuts today. Now, growing up, we're thinking that's healthy food.
Oh, we're thinking, and those
that's
rocks, grape
food.
Rocks, you mean?
We're thinking that's a healthy food, but actually it's a highly processed food.
Well, that's my point. That's what I'm talking about. When I look at something, I want it to be like
a whole food.
Oh, that reminds me of something I wanted to comment on. I saw on Facebook today somebody had pictures of buffalo, like grazing out in the wild. It appeared, and I'm thinking, I'm about ready to like it. And then I see that there's a recipe written on the side involving buffalo meat. And I'm like, no, this is too much. So I made a comment. I said, this is what it's like living in a world with carnivores. You'll put a pristine picture, benign, peaceful picture like this up of the buffalo, and the next thing you're talking about, it's ground up flesh on your plate. And if you think about it, the reason we do this and the reason we have these elaborate recipes is for our pleasure and entertainment, to make it palatable and enjoyable. What about the freaking animal whose blood you just whacked? whose life you just took. You know, that's a consideration. How many people who would sit down unconsciously to that meal would take that animal's life with their own hands in order to have that meal for themselves? If everybody who was going to eat such a meal and the next day were required to do that for that meal, I'll bet you more than 90%.
Visit a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Just drive down Route 5 in California.
Anyway, here's my little. You know what? It's not a vegetarian rant. It's not. It's a peacefulness rant, is what it is. Humans are the most violent species on the planet. Other animals are learning violence from us. And that's scary, man. We're supposed to be like the leading cutting edge animal on the planet. We presume this superior position because we can make things with our hands, because we got a lot of ingenuity and insight into the nuances of things. But we've got to be the stupidest animal on the planet. I mean, come on. Come on, people. Think about it. Look at the nonsense we perpetrate on one another and the rest of the planet every day. Yes, I use the word nonsense with capital letters. And I don't want to really rant anymore. I mean, I think the point is blunt enough. I think I've said my piece.
Where we start? We started off talking about, good eating less.
Eating less. The whole point. It is fairly disgusting to me to see the state that people get themselves into because they can't control their appetites. It's kind of grotesque, I mean, not to say that there aren't conditions that lead to that state, but in this culture, in this time, the diet that is acceptable to the vast majority of people is a diet that leads to this form of disease. To give people the benefit of the doubt, we're born into it, we're trained into it, and we march in step. But we pay the price. If you're going to do it, if you're going to consent, and you are willing to give up your thought process, and you are willing to just take it as it's spoon-fed to you, the result is evident by looking around. It's sad to see, but it's incumbent on each and every one to knock on their own door and say, anybody home? What do I have to say about this if I really take a look at it? Is that what I want to be eating? Something that crunches like cardboard and comes out of a plastic bag that's tainted up with all kinds of, powerful flavorings just so that you'll eat it. Man, you have to think about that. You just have to think about it. Give what goes past your teeth a little bit of thought rather than just the autonomous move, because it's...
That's what's great about fasting. When you fast...
You start to find out.
You become more sensitive.
Yeah.
You don't even want to put that thing. It's like...
Well, it's, So the question is, this is not a world where sensitivity is encouraged because you suffer more when you're more sensitive in this world. There's no question about it. So... On the other hand, if you're going to call yourself a human being, then you have to move away from the direction from so willingly swinging the knife on other animals when it's not really necessary. We don't have to do that. And the only reason we do it is for the snake. That one right there. And it's a trained beast.
Wow.
So you have to take it into account, people.
All right.